Welcome to the Land Your Bet Sports Betting Show. Looking at Wednesday in the NBA here, have 6 games that we're running through. I've got 7 player prop projections. It's still early. I know I'm coming out late, though, with this video on Wednesday, just waiting on these injury reports because we only have one game that doesn't have a team on a back-to-back. That's the Lakers and the Heat. But I still have 7 player prop projections. A couple of these props are not yet up. So I'm giving this to you to let you know about it when it does come out, and I'll be going through that stuff on the VIP Discord as well. So definitely want to jump in there if you're not yet in there. For now, though, let's get right into how last night went. Not a great night in the NBA. I will admit it, 5-9, minus 3.8 U. But if you can't take the losing nights, then you're in the wrong business here trying to bet. So I'm going to go through this stuff with you real quick. Kevon Looney was against the Nuggets. Easy play for the big man, only guy on the Warriors who can really even come close to guarding Jokic. So as soon as he was declared in and gave us props, we got him at over 12.5 PR. He cleared that pretty easily. Walker Kessler's been on a tear. We're going to be going back to the kid. He's been on a roll, getting 30-plus minutes from Will Hardy, the coach, finally. So we feel good about his involvement in the offense and obviously on the boards moving forward. He had 17 points alone last night, actually led the team in a game that they got blown out. So that was another reason. He's kind of blowout proof being as young as he is. Paul George, 9.5 on the RA, might be back on the scoring. Looked really, really good against a terrible Charlotte Hornets team. So do with that what you will. He's already been listed out for this game on Wednesday against the Magic. Santi Aldama, another really good find that I loved. This should have been at 11.5 or so, 12.5. He ended with about 15, I believe. And the thing that the books are not catching up to with Santi Aldama is when he's out there with all the starters, he's better. So just because guys like Ja and Desmond Bane are back in the lineup and fully healthy at this point, doesn't mean that Santi Aldama is going to regress. It played almost 30 minutes against the Mavericks. Very crucial as their backup center, especially with Zach Edey out. And as long as we still don't see Edey, I'm going to keep going back to Aldama. Another center here, Brook Lopez. This was my mistake, and this is a learning experience right here, which is I don't know why I added the points because we got the points and rebounds wrong. You only had 5 of them, but he got the 6 boards, which was the alt line that I ended up giving out at plus 145, 0.7 units that we put on it to get more than a unit back there to make up for the PR mistake that I made with him. Scotty Barnes on the boards. Not as much of a problem with it. He only had 6. I believe he ended up with about 10 or 11 rebound chances. Could have gotten 2 more, not the rebound chances I was looking for. The key takeaway with Scotty Barnes is he's so involved in the offense, especially with Quickly out. He's the point guard, the small forward, he's everything. So he's going to do a little bit of everything. Points, rebounds, assists, probably the safest play with Scotty moving forward. KD got hurt. Nothing we can do about that. He had 15 points and 4 boards in like 16 minutes. Man was about to go crazy and help them win that game. They won anyway, but he got hurt. And when he's not hurt, he's a monster. When he is hurt, we got unlucky. It's just that simple. Chris Paul, 0 for 5 from 3. Couldn't get the 9 points that we needed. We got great closing line value on that, meaning I took it at 8.5. It closed closer to almost 10 points that you needed to go over Chris Paul. Didn't come to fruition with the awful shooting. Only made 1 shot on the night, 2 points. Stephon Castle ended up doing everything I thought Chris Paul would do, which is dominate the Suns from up top and then be able to get into the lane and get the floater. It was all Stephon Castle, the backup PG. So we move on from that one. Wemby, 1 for 9 from 3. This is only the 3rd time this season that Wemby has failed to score 4 3-pointers when he takes at least 9 threes. 1 for 9. Not much you can do about that. I would take that at plus 175 again. Christian Brown, hooked over 17.5 PR, ended at 17. And in that one, I would go back to him again. But the thing about the Nuggets is going to be when you have Jokic rather up against the Warriors who are not able to defend centers, and you know that he's going to dominate a team, you can kind of pinpoint those moments for Jokic. Not worth it to take guys around him at that point because of how well he's playing, how much he dominates the boards and the points, had 38 and a million rebounds, whatever. So that's the kind of the lesson, but I still feel like Christian Brown's a good go back to guy in that situation. I'm not too upset with that bet. This is the one that I need to apologize for to the VIP. The rebound parlay was too noob. It was some noob shit. 10 boards for Cat, 10 boards for Hart, 10 boards for Joker. Hartenstein specifically. And for Cat, it was what I liked. I liked Cat rebounds. I got scared because he was playing such a good rebounding defense in the Orlando Magic. And I ended up taking the coward's way out, and it cost me. And I shouldn't be doing that. Just hit the Cat rebounds. He had 10 at the half. Man leads the league in rebounding right now. So lastly, Mason Plumlee was a miss on my part because I didn't really take into consideration that he is no longer going to be getting even sort of backup center minutes. Even with Nurkic out last night, he still didn't get the start, only played 19 17 minutes compared to the Rook, whose name I'm never going to try to say, who ended up with about 28 minutes. So that was a miscalculation on my part for who's going to get the rotation minutes. But we're going to make it up today. Even on this nasty slate, there's some pretty good value. Let's get into the 7-player prop projections I have. Give that video a like, and we're going to jump right into it. All right, we're going to get into this slate now. I do want to remind you guys, propsmadness.com is what we're going to be using here. And I do have a nice partnership with them that I'm happy to announce. So we are going to be giving away a promo codes for anybody who wants to get in on the Props Madness subscription here. Best tool around for the NBA. I'd be lying if I said anything else. Use code LYB if you don't yet have an account and you do want to get in on this to get 25% off your first month. Also should say that if you already have an account, but you have not used a code of any kind to get your account on Props Madness, hit me up. I can retroactively get you 25% off your next month on Props Madness using code LYB. So hit me up if you do have this account, but don't have a code already used. And if you don't have an account, use code LYB. But looking at the first play that I'm talking about here, and I'm going to go to this, start with this Heat and Lakers game. It's the only game that I mentioned does not have anybody on a back-to-back. Both these teams are equally rested. We do have Jimmy Butler questionable. That's the thing to keep in mind for this game, for the Heat especially. And while I'm on a strict no Heat diet, I'm looking at Tyler Hero right now because I like a lot of what we're seeing from him. And I think we can add the assists here, points and assists as well for him. That's kind of where I'd be going against the Lakers defense that is very bad, limiting assists, as we know. They are on the assists 27th, so the 4th most assists in the league that they're giving up. I can also look at point guards here using FanDuel Fantasy Pros. That is a link that is in the description of the video if you do need it to be able to find this. We're going to call him a point guard, and we're going to look at assists point guards versus the Lake Show. We're looking at about 6th worst here, almost 10 per game that they're giving up. A few more notes about how bad they are on defense right now for them. They have, like I said, the assists are super high, but it's also just the defensive rating that has dropped for this team a ton. As we've seen this season over the course of the last 5 games or so, this defensive rating has not been good. And right now they sit at 24th, whereas they were about 18th until this little losing streak that the Lake Show has been on over the course of the last 6 to 7 games, struggling a ton, struggling above the break. We're probably going to see a bit more D'Lo, would be my guess as well. Austin Reeves is questionable, so there is the likelihood that D'Lo plays without Austin Reeves, which is going to be a lot more minutes for him. If not, it's still going to be a good amount of D'Lo. If Austin Reeves is going but is hobbled, I still think we see a good amount of D'Angelo Russell, which is another reason why I like Tyler Hero. When you have a minus defender on the floor, substituting him for Austin Reeves, Austin Reeves isn't exactly like Tony Allen on defense. At the same time, he's better than D'Angelo Russell. I would guess that a garbage can that is stationary might be better at defense than D'Angelo Russell. So that's a big part of why we like Tyler Hero in this one. But honestly, I also like D'Lo, and his points got taken down because Austin Reeves was seen at shoot around. So that does matter in terms of D'Lo playing, but the minutes I think are still going to be there for him at about 25 or so. If you look at D'Lo, and I'm going to have to go to StatMuse here to look at D'Angelo Russell because we don't have him up yet with props pulling through. I'm going to look at him in the last 10 games, and I think you can see a little bit of a difference where he kind of crawls out of the doghouse here. If you look at the most recent games, 34, 26, 26. Now, this one was without Austin Reeves against Minnesota, but on the other ones here had a lot of Austin Reeves, still looking at 26, 26, 29 minutes, right? And those in the last 4, 23, 26 over here. So after getting put down a little bit and taken out of the starting lineup and seeing his minutes greatly reduced, he's been back in there shooting about 10 to 12 times per game over the course of this last bunch of 6 or 7 games here, and looking at 20, 17, 17, 16 points in the last 4. So if this comes out, it opened at like 11.5 and then it got taken down again for D'Lo. I think we're going to see this come back out under like 13.5 points. I like it up to about that. I think 12.5 is good value. 13.5, you're starting to push it for the points for D'Lo, but I really like him in this matchup where he's already averaging 12.4 on the season. And even when he only plays 25 minutes or 25 to like 28 minutes on the season, which I'd be able to show you on Props Madness if we had the props up, when he's in those situations, he's averaging about 14 points per game. So if he gets 25 minutes, I like him for 14 points. That's why I'd say I play it up to 13.5, but that's about where I'd leave it. I would not touch the assist for D'Lo. In fact, considering the assist for LeBron Haven't bet this yet. The only thing that I like so far as an actual bet, to be super clear with you guys, is Tyler Hero. It's the other stuff that I'm still waiting on. LeBron James, I want to know about Austin Reeves. I think the assists are going to be high for him. If Austin Reeves is in, I like it just as much. So strongly considering the 8.5, but a few more things I want to look at. Just haven't had time to get to it yet. Wanted to make sure I got the Hero look out to you. And as soon as we get the D-Lo look on the points, anything at 12.5 or lower is a good bet for D-Lo points over. Just to be clear, I don't have much for the Celtics game because we don't know who's playing, but I think we know who we need to target in a game against the Pistons on a back-to-back for this team. The next game they have after the Pistons is the Bucks, so you know they're going to care about that. We've seen Al Horford, Drew Holiday miss a couple games recently. They've been, resting their guys as they need to for the Celtics, but either way, I think we're going to be seeing a bunch of guys missing for the C's, which means obviously we go back to Peyton Pritchard points. I also like Neemias Queta to get the boards if we see some combination of Al and or Kristaps not playing in this one. I can't imagine Kristaps plays, but if one of those two doesn't play, you got to have somebody to bang down low with Jalen Duren, and I think we'll see a bit more Neemias Queta in that point, and I like him on the rebounds up to about 6.5 boards. Another game we don't have enough props for just yet is this Philly-Orlando game. And the reason is Paul George was ruled out recently, so they're still updating what they're going to do here. Might be a couple other guys missing as well, but JoJo's out, Joel Embiid. Pretty sure Andre Drummond's going to be out again. And if Andre Drummond is out, I really like the Gershon Yabusele on the boards, and this is going up. So I hit this at about minus 120 for him. It was about minus 109 on Bet Rivers just recently as well. I think the boards are good, and I like the trend that people clearly see this as well without Andre Drummond. If you look at him this season without Andre Drummond, let me take these filters here and go to games without Drummond. Just Drummond alone, honestly. And I mean, I'll take out Embiid as well. Really, it's Drummond. Either way, this one, they both were missing in these two games right here. He's averaging, 9 and 12 boards in those games. The rebound chances are what you love. 20 rebound chances against Charlotte. And against Cleveland, a very good rebounding team, 17 rebound chances. So I'm not worried. Both these teams are good rebounding teams, believe it or not. The Hawks are good the Hornets are good rebounding, top 15 in rebounding. I believe they might even be top 10 right now, which is weird to think about. They're playing so slow. They're not giving up very many. And the Cavs, also a top 15 rebounding team, still had Gershon doing well. I know how good this Magic team is, but they're on the back-to-back too. I don't know that we're going to see Goga Batadze. That's the other thing. He's questionable, which is why I love Gershon, but I also like Mo Wagner, Moritz, if we can get some props for him. Big game for Mo last night. And here's what I want to show you. This is Betting Pros, and this site right here, this is linked in the description of the video as well, so that you can just get right to here, and then you can search for whichever player you want for the purpose of finding prior lines. That's what's really important here, is seeing the previous lines so that we know what the books have been putting out for him. If you look at Moritz on the rebounds here, I clicked rebounds after searching for him, scroll down and you'll get the game log with what the prop line was at. And it's usually very accurate is what I'm trying to say. And this is the closing line for Mo's rebounds. So he had a 5.5 line, 4.5, 4.5, 6.5, 5.5. Basically, I like this up to 6.5. Because if he plays without Goga in this game, then we're going to be seeing a lot more minutes for him. It's he and Wendell Carter Jr., and that's about it. And Wendell Carter Jr. is not a very good rebounder, if we're being honest. Now, the thing with Wendell is he has been doing decently on the boards, just getting right up to 7 and can't get 8 seemingly, right? And so he's at 7 consistently. Look how many times in a row he actually hit 7. And so these games were without Goga or with Goga playing as well. So I don't know what to do with Wendell. He's been good with Goga, bad without him, and vice versa. I don't really like targeting him on the boards in this game, but I do like Moritz if he gets 5.5 rebounds, that is a absolute lock and a steal, especially because he's not starting. We're still getting value when I think he's likely to play about 25 minutes in this game with Goga Batadze out. So we want to see what happens with Goga, but I'm liking Mo Wagner as soon as we see any news that Goga Batadze is not going to play. The other bet that I don't have up here, so I do like Gershon. I like him on the boards. That's a bet, not a lean. If you like the boards, I would take it to minus 130. We're starting to get out of my range here of enjoying this bet quite as much. So keep an eye on that to see if you can get it. But if you can't get 8+ for anything better than minus 130, I'm not sure I would take that at this point. The other guy here is Jared McCain, who we don't see. And the reason for Jared McCain would be we don't have Kyle Lowry in this game. We don't have Paul George. We don't have JoJo Embiid, right? So we know that we're going to be getting a lot more minutes here for Jared McCain. I'll bring up StatMuse again. I think I already actually had this up. If you look at Jared McCain without Paul George this season. Looked pretty good at times. It's actually been in the last few games, right? At the beginning of the season, wasn't doing as well without Paul George, wasn't getting the minutes, right? Even here at the beginning of the season, first game, second game, third game, fourth game, fifth game, all 5 games here without Paul George up until the very beginning of last month in November, he was still averaging like 15 minutes per game, right? Then we get him without Paul George in better situations where he's getting a ton more minutes, right? Now 41, 28, 39, 38 in his last 4 games. And in those 4 games up at about what, like 20 point, I think he's actually 23 points per game. Yeah, that's, I actually have this right here. 23 points per game in his last 5 without Paul George. Looking at about 32 and a half minutes per game. And the assists, fine. Maxi's in there. I don't know how much passing is going to be going on. McCain's going to be looking for his shot. The field goal attempts without PG are at 19 as well. So it's really going to be the Jared McCain, Tyrese Maxey show on offense with some Kelly Oubre mixed in, because we don't even have Kyle Lowry out there. So I don't mind the assist for McCain, but if this points total prop line comes out for him at 17 and a half or better for Jared McCain, I absolutely love this over for him tonight. As we jump into this Bucks and Hawks game, this is the last one that I have some bets for, and I got 2 bets that I like in here. But just a reminder, if you want to make sure you get every single play that I'm making, up 19 units right now in the VIP Discord, so still feeling good, up 19 despite 2 bad days in a row. Definitely do not let that get us down or cry like babies about it. We just get right back up on the horse and keep going. So if you do want to keep going, I also have recaps for everything I'm doing. Betting education is also a big part of the VIP Discord. If you want some one-on-one sports betting consultations with me, that's super available once you get into that part of the Discord as well, so that you can get a little bit better at this sports betting thing, and I can help out, maybe trim some bad habits and replace them with some good ones. That's what we're trying to do. But let's get into this Hawks and Bucks game. And the bets that I'm looking at right now, love AJ Green, and this man is on the rise. I'm starting to wonder if the books are in the Discord, because this started moving as soon as I put it out there in the VIP at 6.5 points. This mother is already up to 7.5. The threes are probably a better look at this point. If you can get about 150 for 3+ threes for AJ Green, that's the majority of his shots, right? And I think we're in a good spot for him against a defense that will be giving up threes. It'll be giving up spot ups as well. You can see if we go down here, they are 7th worst, limiting points to the spot up shooter or handoff or coming off a screen. Anybody off ball that's spotted up or is getting the ball handed to them or whatever, if you're not the primary ball handler, you're going to do really well against this Hawks team. And I'm sure Dame will have a good game. He's probably going to get the Dyson Daniels treatment, which makes me not really like it quite as much. It makes me like it for a guy like AJ Green, who's going to be further down in the corner, taking 40% of his shots from the corner 3. And this defense is bad. Bottom 3 overall against the corner 3 for the Hawks, and above the break as well. So I'm not trying to say like this is an awesome defense from deep at all anyway. But I will say that if he's got Trey Young anywhere around him, that's wonderful, right? So there's going to be some buckets to be had from deep. And I love AJ Green, sharpshooter right now. You can see he's been going over a lot lately. But the key thing here is that Pat Connaughton is still out. And that's what we're looking at here. And StatMuse is always going to be the best for this, which is just AJ Green with and without Pat Connaughton this season, right? You're going to see a major difference. And so I love when we can just go to StatMuse, use the with and without metrics here to just get us really good info. So 13 games that AJ has played with Pat Connaughton. In those 13 games, not even 18 minutes, 7.5 points, which by the way was still above 6.5. That was a mispriced line. And then you can see the shot attempts up at 5. When he is without Pat Connaughton, 6 games this season, 8 more minutes, 3 more points per game, and about a shot and a half more per game, right? Making a little bit more threes, but mostly it's just that he's out there for more minutes, so he gets a few more opportunities, and he's a lot more involved in the offense rather than just being like the 5th or 6th option essentially on the floor. They know that this dude is a sharpshooter, and they've been starting to feed him a lot more as of late as well. You can see, 4 shots is about where he's the floor for him, and 8 to 10 shots is about the ceiling, but you can bank on a lot of those being from 3. Like I said, against a really bad 3-point defense, I think you take the 3+ threes at plus 150. I also think you can still get the points at 7.5. If you can get minus 110, that's about where I might stop. If you minus 115 for sure. So there's not the greatest odds left for you on just the points alone, but I still think it's a very good value play on the threes for AJ Green. Other guy I'm looking at in this game right now, Dyson Daniels, We actually talked about this a lot in the live show a couple days ago, which was rebounds and assists for Dyson D. They were 7.5 then for like minus 115 normal odds. You can get this at plus 115 on Bet365, anywhere even money as well on Caesars, ESPN Bet, and then close to even money on BetMGM. That's what's available right now for Dyson D on the rebounds and assists. I still think it's a great look for him in this game. He failed, or he didn't fail, excuse me. He got it last game. I believe he might have actually been a little bit higher at like 8.5. So this is saying that he went over in this game, but I believe he failed to get the 8.5 last game. This got bumped down. Now we've got great value with Dyson Daniels, who's averaging 8 on the season, but this is a great matchup for him to do this. If you look at him in the last 10, which is what really the last 10 is important, not just because he's been going over here, but that was the first game he played without Trey, was right about here against the Celtics, right? Since that time, they kind of got him more involved in the assists. You can see 13 potential assists in this game against a really good defense in the Celtics, and then things just started to stay up. Now, didn't get it against this team. The Wizards still had the 9 rebound chances, couldn't pull the boards down, but everything else since then against good rebounding teams, good offensive teams, still doing work, and good defensive teams, rather, I should say, still doing work on the RA. Love the rebound chances and the potential assists for him. Mostly the boards, I think, is the big thing here, but I don't want to take it at 4.5 or minus 1 million, right, on the odds there. And the assists, you're getting really good juice for over 2.5, which is still doable, but I'd rather just put them together. The likelihood that he's able to get both of them, or at least one of them a little bit more than the prop, I do think is a good number here. So the way that he's got his potential assists up, I believe I've got this written down here. Over the course of the last 10, he is 4th on the team in rebound chances, and he's 3rd in passes made, including 6 potential assists. So it's like him, Jalen Johnson, and obviously Trey as the guys distributing the ball. I think he'll be in a good position to have the ball in his hands on the perimeter against a very bad defense here for Milwaukee. So I'm going to take him to get his rebounds and assists in this one. Not going to be able to get to the live show today. Unfortunately, got other plans that are getting me up here, but I will be back with the live show 5:30 p.m. Eastern, as we do every day on Thursday. We'll be going through some Thursday night football stuff in there as well. So definitely want to jump in, bring your bets, jump in the comments. I share my screen with you. We go over that stuff together and help you get a little bit better at this whole sports betting thing while we find those winners as well for the night. So definitely want to make sure to subscribe to the page as well here on YouTube. Check out the NFL video I'll have for you guys today for tomorrow night's game there with the Lions and the Packers. And until I see y'all next, happy betting.